And they said to me, sir, because they used to say, you know, my biggest fan is Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO. He just left. He was a good man. He was there for a long time. He said Trump was unbelievable. When Obama would come in, he'd make a speech and he'd leave. Bush came in, he made a speech and he'd leave. All the other ones, they'd come in, they'd send their people, they'd make a speech and they'd leave. Trump came in, he said, whoa, I don't want to make a speech, I want to look at the books. I looked at the books and I realized that we were paying 100% or close to 100% of NATO. And I said, it's no good. It's no good. And then they had a big meeting because of that. And at the meeting, they had 28 countries, including us at the time. And the meeting was amazing. And the head of a major country stood up. Sir, does this mean that if we don't pay up, you will not protect us from Russia in case they get aggressive? I said, does that mean that you're delinquent? You mean you haven't paid? In other words, you're delinquent, right? I never heard that term, sir. That's an old real estate term. You're delinquent. He said, yes, we're delinquent. He said, if you're delinquent, if you haven't paid, I would not protect you under any circumstances from Russia. And the next day, you know, only a few countries were paid up. Most of them were delinquent. The next day, billions and billions of dollars came flowing in. They came flowing in. They don't write about it too much. But Stoltenberg said Trump did something I never believed, because he was there for a long time. He said for years and years, decades, nobody would pay because the United States would always be there to pick up the tab because we're run by stupid people. And so that was it. But we'll make America wealthy again, and we'll make America affordable again. And we're 2 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, the brightest economic future, despite where we start from. It's so depressing when you look at what's going on. If my opponent knew how to fix the economy, she would have done it. And I say all the time, during the debate with her, I had a debate. I debated 3 people. It was 3-on-1. I debated Pretty Boy, who's not actually as good looking as he looks on television. In person, he's really not that great looking. But I debated him and some woman that they say, oh, I have no idea who the hell she is. All I know is they interrupted me every time I said, crime is at an all-time high. David Muir goes, it is not. See what they're doing? See that horn over there? They put that horn up. Do you hear that? It's right in the field where you might have a sniper. See, that's... And I have no glass here. Yeah, I have no glass. I have glass here. There's nothing over there. They're my glass. See? Those people are my glass. I'm hearing that horn. That could be any minute now. They're getting ready. What the hell do I know? I must be wrong. I must be wrong. Probably it was probably Biden or the other one that said, screw him, don't give him the glass. Oh, you don't think? Let me tell you, I'll tell you what. Secret Service guys were very brave when I got shot. They stood right in the line of fire. And I don't want to speak out of school, but I can say from the time I got elected, these guys were fighting for more help, for more people like you have up there, great people, but they were fighting for more assets. They call them assets. I think it's an extremely nasty term, but that's what they were fighting for. They need more assets because we have big rallies. You know, we have 50,000. Interestingly, during the debate, she said, oh, and your debates don't really draw, and everybody leaves early. So then I go, because when somebody says something, I think you have to refute it, right? I said, no, my debates never have an empty seat, and nobody ever leaves early. Nobody has ever left early. These guys will tell you. Nobody. And I walked off, and I said, I killed her in this debate. There were 100 things, but I was debating 3 people. I wasn't debating one. 11 times or so, they said, no, that's not right. That's not right. You know, they weren't supposed to do that, too, by the way. ABC. It's ABC fake news, CBS, ABC, NBC. These are, in my opinion, these are seriously corrupt people. But here's the story. So I refuted. It took only about 30 seconds. I said, no, my rallies are the biggest and nobody ever leaves. And not only are they the biggest, they're hundreds of times bigger than anybody else. The other night in Milwaukee, that arena was here, the Wall. Mr. Wall, would you please stand up? This guy, he was there. You know, this guy's a very successful guy, and I think he's been to like 300 of these things. But he's great. He's a smart guy. He's made a lot of money. I don't know. He likes this better than going to see a rock concert, right? Because we do have some fun, considering we're talking about a very tough subject. It's a bad subject. It's an embarrassing subject. It's embarrassing that this could happen to our country. But in Milwaukee, they have a beautiful arena. It holds like, you know, essentially, I think it's probably a little bit larger than Madison Square Garden, but that size. And we were packed to the rafters. We could have sold it out 3 times. I wish I had the picture. I'll send you the picture, everybody that wants. And it was amazing. But there is a great spirit that this whole MAGA movement has. When Biden got up and he had that horrible scene behind him, the pink and purple, it looked like the devil. And he liked that, you know, made him look like a tough guy, you know. How do you make me look like a tough guy? And he started talking about, we will stop MAGA. We will stop. We won't let MAGA go forward. Couldn't understand. Then he couldn't find his way off the stage as usual. And I wrote him a little note. Joe, MAGA means make America great again. That's what it is. So I'm sort of finished with this whole thing, but so the fake news, some of these lame brains, I see them, I can tell you everyone up there a couple of them are good, but everyone up there, I can tell you, they're really dishonest people. I mean, real dishonest. And, you know, they call me, and when I pick up the phone by mistake, which is usually the only way they get me, but they sound so nice. It sounds like really great stuff. But let me just tell you, they'll say, some of them, that speech was rambling. That's the word they love to use, rambling. Others will say it was totally brilliant, and it was brilliant. But it's also, there was no ramble in there whatsoever, by the way, none. But you have to understand that this is something that the American public had to hear. You have to hear this. You have to go to free, strong, clear, beautiful elections. You have to have a very powerful, very strong border. You cannot let the world's criminals enter our country by the tens of thousands, by the hundreds of thousands. We cannot accept all of the mental patients all over the world. You know, some of those mental institutions in other parts of the world, not just South America, all over the world. A lot of people coming from the Congo, prisons in the Congo, they're emptying them. You know what they save by doing that? You know, have any idea what they save? They're all in our country, and the ones that aren't will be. And crime is down all over the world where they've done this. They've taken their criminals in Caracas in Venezuela, all their street crime criminals, the ones that knock the crap out of people, the ones that rob the purses and rob the stores, and they moved them here. And the fake news doesn't want to cover the story. Take a look at what's happening in Aurora, in Colorado. Take a look at how horrible it is. They actually took control of apartment complexes. They're in the real estate business like me. And it's happening in it's hundreds of towns and cities. It's something that is just a disgrace. But we're pleased to be joined because it's an important part of it. We have to have good people. And if David would like to come up for a second, David McCormick, he's a tremendous person. And you really should vote for him, because the other guy is a total waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all for being here. We got to win this election in the Keystone State. It's a choice between strength of President Trump, fight, 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 and the weakness of Kamala Harris. It's a choice between the common sense policies, Mr. President, that you had, get our economy back on track, secure that border, open up that energy sector so we can have that beautiful, clean natural gas going around the world. Keep us peaceful through the strength you'll bring, Mr. President. So thank you. I hope to be right there with you in the Senate because I'm running against the guy. I don't know if you know this, Mr. President. He's running ads standing next to you. Bob Casey, can you believe this? Right? Can you believe it? This guy is a career politician. He was born with a silver political spoon in his mouth. We need to get rid of him, get new leadership in the Senate, make America great again, make Pennsylvania great again. Thank you, sir, for having me. All the best.
Thank you, Dave. You got to vote for him. Look at a standing ovation. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, this could be the big day then. We finally broke loose. Good. Wow. Look at that, David. Great job. Hi, Dina. And his incredible wife who was with me in the Oval Office, and she's as smart as they come. She's a great one, great person too. Thank you, Dina. Very nice to have you. What he said is interesting because Bob Casey, a friend of mine called, very smart guy, big guy, high intellect as opposed to a lot of the people we have to deal with. He said, I didn't know that you and Bob Casey are such good friends and so close. He meant it. I said, I don't know the guy. He had nothing to do with me. He's like a stiff. He doesn't do anything. He's there. He survives. That's all. He's a genius at survival. On survival, I give him a 10. On everything else, we don't give him. But I said, why the hell do you say I'm friendly? Because there's commercials that he shows you standing with him. And I have followed the president on the wall, on the border. It sounded like maybe he was actually going to be a Republican. Was he a Republican? No, he's a Democrat. Here's a guy who's a radical left guy. And I have the same thing in Ohio. I have about 5 of them. It's actually a compliment, I guess, you know? But they're all taking out ads. Tester is getting killed, I hope. I don't know. You know, I think he's getting killed. And he's fighting for his life. A young, smart guy, but they're trying to destroy that guy. If you look now, what they're doing to Tim is brutal. They're trying to destroy him on, you know, fake information and stuff. But every one of these senators in Ohio, Sherrod Brown, he's running against Bernie Moreno. Moreno's really good, and he should win, and I'm winning Ohio by a lot. And some of these states I win by a lot. This state I think I should do really well. I won it the first time. The second time, I had like I think, you know, look, it's a long time, great memory. I'll give you about as close as I can get. With 73% of the vote in, I think I was up by close to 900,000 votes. In other words, it was over. And then they said, there's been a minor adjustment. And around 3:02 in the morning, they found like hundreds of thousands of ballots. So I went from 73%. I kept saying, why aren't they calling one of my favorite places, Pennsylvania? Why aren't they doing it? I'm 73% and I'm hundreds of thousands of votes up. I think I could have lost every single vote and won. Anyway, and all of a sudden they had to readjust. There was a readjustment. Oh, and that happened in other places too. You know, the reason I picked Whatley from North Carolina, because I was leading there, and it went through, and they tried like hell to cheat. But other places weren't as good as him. And I said, we don't need votes. We need somebody that can watch the votes and watch the steal. and he's doing a great job. But, you know, I mean, there's so many things happening in Pennsylvania. We're in court all the time. 2,600 votes. And I don't think there should be a problem. It was done by the same guy. And that guy should go to jail for a long period of time. Now, maybe he's not guilty. But you'd have to do a lot of talking, I think. And then we have other things in other counties. I know them all well. And so we'll see how it all comes out. But, you know, they're having a lot of court cases going on, and judges aren't particularly friendly. It's amazing, actually. You know, you go in with things. How about the one in Virginia? We have a really good governor that's become friends of mine. We had a great rally yesterday. How about Virginia? How about Virginia? Where they had all these votes, and all the things that happened, and it turned out that these people admitted that they're not qualified. They admitted it. They said thousands of votes, thousands. We are not qualified. We are not citizens of the country. I think they admitted it, right? And the governor, Glenn Youngkin, good guy, very good guy, smart guy, he went in, they found it, you know. They didn't find it by accident. They found all these votes, and they went to the court, and the judge ruled against us. I wonder who appointed that judge. Gee, some people don't like me saying that. I wonder who appointed the judge. But the judge found that I think they said they didn't find him in time or something, you know, some crazy thing. They didn't find him in time, so therefore he can vote, even though he has no idea what the name of our country is, right? And it went to another court, and it was a failed thing too. And then the Supreme Court ruled in favor. They said, you have to be a citizen of our country. Think of that. But we caught them. We caught them. And they did a great job in Virginia. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll win. You know, it's not in theory a swing state, but I'll tell you, we had a crowd. You couldn't see the end of it. So I want to also introduce, if I might, a man who's really brave. He went through hell. He got shot also, by the way. He got really shot. But he's come back, and he's a friend of mine for a long time. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Steve, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve. And what a good man he is. He took some bad. I went to the hospital to see him the night he got shot. The doctor told me he had a 15% chance. He had almost no chance, and he lived. I actually think he's better looking today than he was before. It's true. I told him, I said, you know, you're a better looking guy today than you were. But he's a great guy. He took a big hit, man. The doctor said he lost more blood than anybody that I've ever operated on or tried to save. And he said, I've been doing this for 25 years. And he lived. He lived because he's a strong person. Former Democrat, presidential candidate, somebody who's very popular, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi? Thank you. Thank you, brother. Great. And she just turned Republican. She just turned Republican. Governor Sarah Sanders, my friend, huh? Thank you, Sarah. Arkansas, she's doing a great job. Doing a great job. A woman I have a lot of respect for. I've watched her for years. I mean, she happens to be beautiful, but I didn't watch her for that reason. I watched her because she was really a top racing NASCAR legend and did a fantastic job. Danica Patrick. She's fantastic. Thank you, Danica. I've been in those cars, and I don't want to do it again. I had one of your friends drive me around that track. I said, yes, get me the hell out of this car. I don't know how you do it, but you had a great career. Thank you very much, Danica. I appreciate it. Sage Steele, who hosted something for us the other night. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun the other night, right? Thank you, Sage. Appreciate it. We have some incredible patriots, some really brave people, actually. One has gone through hell for absolutely no reason. They came down on him, and they came down because he was honest and he was a patriot. And a tough guy, though. He could handle it very easily. Scott Perry. Scott. And another, these are great. You know, I go to some of the states, and I'm not even in love with some of the Congress people. But these guys are all good. Dan Muser is fantastic. Dan is a fantastic. He said 100% you're going to win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You better be right. I think he's right. Well, there's a lot of spirit here, you know. And we even have the polls up, but I think it's much more than the polls. No, the polls, I'm telling you, you can make those suckers sing. You get the right pollster, you can do, and you really do inflict damage, you know, when you do like this person from Iowa. Today, the election essentially is really, we're talking Turkey, comes out with a poll different from every other poll, because it wasn't even in question. It's really the opposite way. I'm way up. If you look at 3-4 months ago, Dan, I was losing states that now are walks, you know, they're now walks. And I think you're going to have that here. It's called suppression. They suppress. And it actually should be illegal because it's, in many ways, it's worse than the written word, which these guys do quite well, actually. John Joyce is a fantastic person and a brave person. Thank you, John. The other day, I introduced, at John's request, the Penn State National Wrestling Championship team. And these guys came up, and they were powerful as hell. They just won the, think of it, the coach must be unbelievable. I hear he's a great wrestler, too, a fantastic wrestler, like a champion. Didn't he win the Olympics also? So this coach is something, because they won 11, think of this, they won 11 out of the last 13 years. That makes him, you know, that's like John Wooden stuff. That's incredible. That's incredible. So congratulate him. But I did that for John and the whole group. And that's, to me, it's, you know, I'm into sports. I love sports. When you think of 11, but I looked at these guys, I had them up. I brought them up the days the place was packed. That arena was packed. And we could have packed it 5 times if we wanted to. If we had a bigger arena, it would have been, it didn't matter. But I had them up. And I'm looking at these muscles, they're bulging all over the place. You know, they're the best wrestlers in the country, all the top champions. And many of them were the individual champions. And I said to the audience, these may be the only people in this room that could take the illegal migrants in a fight. Outside of this little group of 10 people that I have up here, we're in trouble. In fact, I tried to recruit them for ICE, but they have other plans. I tried to recruit them. Did you know that? I said, come on, how would you like to be a member of ICE? We need you, because ICE is incredible. ICE goes into a pack of MS-13s, fists flying. I mean, somebody's got to do it. It's a nasty job, but they love it. They love the country. And Lloyd Smucker, I want to thank you very much. Great guy. These are all great. I also want to recognize our great Amish community. We have, where are they? The Amish community, you know? They're a church. I love them. I trust their vote. They are the most, and you know what? They say, I mean, you tell me, this is the first time they've ever been involved. They've got on their horse and buggies, right? They don't do machinery, but they made an exception that they're able to come, and they're coming to one of the rallies. And they made an exception where they can go, but they can't drive. And I'll tell you about them. I had a barn to build, and I went out to bid, and I got all these crazy bids for a lot of money. And they bid for like 1/3 the price. They built a big barn, substantial, out to the cameras and as wide, almost like to the cameras and as wide. Big barn at one of my clubs. 3 days. And they didn't use nails because they don't, they're not allowed to use metal or something. Sarah, 3 days, and the barn is gorgeous. I keep saying, I want to build another barn. I'll make a good deal with these. No, they came in, they took the wood from another location and the horse and buggies. And I never saw anything like it. These are unbelievable people. 3 days. Oh, is that the head of Truth? The head of Truth Social. Hey, that's a hot stock. What's going on with that stock? What the hell? Devin Nunes. You know, he was a great congressman. Everybody respected him so much, and he was tough as hell. He said, sir, you know, there was a man, they said,